I thank the gentleman for yielding me some time. And Madam Speaker, while America and Congress's attention has been diverted from the real issues, we have seen something over the last couple weeks that is going to compromise American security in three ways. One is national security. Two, our economic security. And most important for millions of Americans, their job security. First came the White House decision to shred the Keystone Pipeline permit, a slap in the face to our friends in Canada, and a pink slip for countless Americans who rely on the strategic energy security project for their livelihoods. But you know what may have happened most importantly? With a stroke of a pen, a contract was eliminated. Can other countries trust America anymore? Can Americans trust our president and our executive branch when at a stroke of a pen they unilaterally say that contract is null and void? Then came the moratorium on federal oil and gas leases, the prospect of a long-term drilling ban on public lands, and even steps to halt energy projects on private land. The White House has also pushed the U.S. back into the UN's Paris Climate Treaty, subjecting American interests to the whim of international bureaucrats. And by the way, the English were smart enough to get out of one of those agreements. They called it Brexit. These things will kill family wage American jobs that can't be outsourced, raising prices at the pump and draining trillions of dollars from the U.S. economy. All this was done with a stroke of a pen and without approval from Congress, and the ramifications will be disastrous. Madam Speaker, when it comes to national security, it is no coincidence that we have seen peace break out in the Middle East over the last few years. The diplomatic achievements of the Trump administration in that troubled region are a result, in part, of policies that have made American energy dominance a reality. We gained the upper hand on when we began producing more petroleum and we became energy independent in America. By turning back the clock on these historic gains, the new administration is putting more American lives and treasure at risk. Closer to home, the economic costs will also be dire. The cancellation of the Keystone Pipeline and new energy restrictions have put Wisconsin jobs on the chopping block, including more than 2,000 jobs at Michaels and Precision Pipeline, two fine American companies and Wisconsin companies. And these companies will not be the only ones victims of the Biden administration's great leap backward. Thousands of downstream companies provide support services to these pipeline firms. Businesses like parts suppliers, steel workers, frac sand mine operators, even restaurants, taverns, and other Main Street businesses who count energy industry workers among their customers. All of these businesses are now in the crosshairs for another economic hit. This one inflicted by their own government in Washington, not a pandemic in Wuhan. Even more galling was the administration's glib response that these hardworking Americans should simply suck it up and find better jobs. Is this what unity looks like, Madam Speaker? By taking aim at Americans who work in oil and gas, the Biden administration will cripple a key stream of revenues for state and local governments, funding that they rely on to pay for schools, road repairs, first responders, and public health services. In Wisconsin alone, the loss of revenue associated with the cancellation of Keystone is estimated to hit $3 billion. And I'd like to emphasize, while we're here with the chair of the Western Caucus and we're hearing from members from the west side of Mississippi, Wisconsin is on the east side of the Mississippi, and it is eastern states that are going to be hit with this equally as hard, including states in Ohio and Pennsylvania. While people in our communities are struggling to pay their bills and find work, this administration is killing jobs and making their lives more expensive. While those on the other side are pushing a $350 billion state bailout, the White House is choking off their revenues. And while our nation faces rising threats from foreign adversaries, the other side is taking active steps that will make America less safe, less secure, and less self-reliant. I only need a few more seconds. Mr. Chairman. American workers are tired of being lectured about carbon emissions by people who fly around the world on private jets, like President Biden's climate czar, who admitted that even if U.S. emissions dropped to zero, it would make no difference because 90% of CO2 comes from other countries. In fact, a third of the total global emissions come from China. The bottom line is that access to affordable, abundant, and reliable energy is essential to a dynamic economy, supporting millions of good, made-in-the-USA jobs in American manufacturing. Madam Speaker, when the White House attacks homegrown energy jobs for purely political gain, China wins and America loses.